What's up, newbie investors? My name's Cameron. I have bought 25 houses in the last 6 months. And if you want to learn how, watch this video for 5 tips to accelerate your first 6 months of real estate investing.
We're going to go over the top 5 things that Cam used to really launch his real estate investing career. But before we do that, make sure to what?
Subscribe and comment.
We have an awesome comment challenge. So comment on all the videos, look in the description, it explains it. But let's get started with Cam now. So the top 5 things, we had a little powwow before we started recording, and we wanted to give just 5 incredible key takeaways that can really help you overcome obstacles and get you in the right place to really make an impact in real estate investing. So the first one is, and you did really, really well with this. He called me as he was moving to St. Louis. The first one is get involved in the local real estate investing community. So can you kind of briefly explain how you did that online and offline?
Yeah, I love it. My wife and I, we moved here about a year ago from Colorado, and the very first thing I did, I knew that I wanted to get involved into real estate investing. One of my Facebook friends every couple months would post a Zillow ad for a place for rent, and I hadn't talked to you in 10 years, since high school, and I just was like, I'm gonna reach out to him, ask him about the St. Louis market. I had no idea that you were flipping 200 homes a year, you know, had 150 or 60 or whatever units that you have. I had no idea about that. I was just like, I'm gonna reach out to him and see what this whole St. Louis real estate market is about. And we went to breakfast, I think my first week of moving back. You told me about all of these different meetups and education classes and clubs that were going on in the area. And my wife and I, we dove headfirst into those. So we started going to your guys' buyers club. We started watching YouTube channels. We joined a mastermind class where it was a bunch of people with hundreds of rentals, and then Lexi and I, who had no rentals at the time, just getting around and talking about what they were doing in real estate. So we really, what we wanted to do is we surrounded ourselves with people that were way smarter than us, way better than us.
Which is not hard to do, right?
Yes, it's not. That's not hard. There's a million people out there like it. There's a billion people out there like it. So it's not hard. But we surrounded ourselves with people that were better than us, so we could learn from them. What's that? There's this saying, like,
if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes, that's perfect. That wasn't the saying I was looking for. The one where, you know, your 5, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, whatever that is.
Yeah,
whatever. So we surround ourselves with people that were amazing with real estate and just try to do what they did.
Cam took that to heart. That is extremely important to notice. Whatever your market you're in, there are local meetups that meet every month, and there are online investing communities on Facebook. Whether you know it or not, they're there. So whatever town you're in, just search them out. Search them on Google, search them on Facebook, and they're there. And just go with an open mind, talk to as many people as you can. You're gonna meet contractors there who can do your rehabs. You're gonna meet wholesalers there that will sell you houses. Mm-hmm. You'll meet investors there that you can sell houses to if you come across something you don't want to take down. You're gonna meet lenders there. You're gonna meet everybody you need in these communities, whether you know about them or not. If you don't know about them, your whole trajectory is going to be changed just from listening to this one first tip. But just go get yourself immersed in them online, on Facebook, and in person at the local meetups.
Yeah, definitely. Going off that, you can't do it alone. What you just said, I think all of our contractors have been found at local meetups. All of our granite guy was found at a local meetup. Our plumber we found at a local real estate meetup where he was there trying to get business. Almost every one of the houses that we've bought have been through local meetups. So those, I can't stress this enough. Those are the most important part of getting involved in real estate investing.
And notice how much taller I am than Kane when I'm sitting here.
On the shoulder.
All right, so that was the first one. We're going to go into the second key that can really help accelerate your career, which is defining your buy box. I'll let Cam kind of talk about how he did that, but your buy box can change over time, even if you're doing flips or rentals, whatever you're doing, but it's important to kind of define what you want and where you want to be so you can tell other people what you want to buy. If you tell someone you'll buy anything and anywhere, you're just going to be chasing down a bunch of different things. So define your buy box, whatever that is. So kind of explain how you define your buy box, how you came up with it, and how it's benefited you.
Yeah, this was something that I learned kind of early on in the process. But before you buy anything, you kind of have to develop a niche to be a part of. And for me, I'm terrible at that because I want to have a, $700,000 flip and want to have rentals that, in North County.
And he wants to have rentals in California,
yeah, exactly.
New York, and Florida.
I want vacation rentals, multifamily, I want everything. So for me, I realized for me to be successful, I have to start small. So I had to start with just something, a niche. And so what that is for us is we're looking for single family rentals. We want to buy probably under 100,000, maybe 120,000 or below, and the ARV be about $130,000 to $180,000. And we want them to rent between $1,200 and $1,600 a month.
Using the BRRRR method, right?
Using the BRRRR method.
Which
so
we have a ton of videos
method
about the BRRRR method, which will kind of be flashing above here. All the videos we have on using the BRRRR method, but keep going. We have videos on that as well if you don't know what the BRRRR method or birth strategy is. But that is part of your box, is BRRRing out.
So we want to BRRRR out of everything. We want to be able to buy houses with zero of our own money invested by the time we're out of it. And like you said, there's videos that talks about that. But we want to stay primarily in St. Charles County and in North County. And the reason for that isn't because there's not a specific reason other than the fact that it fits our buy box, which is we're trying to buy under 120,000, and once we have it fixed up, it appraises out between 120 to 180,000, and it has good rents. And so that's why we'd want to stick in those areas. If there's other areas around here that fit that box, we'll certainly look at it. But the best houses that we found are North County, St. Charles County, and then also we want to keep it within about a 30-minute perimeter from our house. My wife and I, we live in St. Peters, and so we want to be able to drive there quickly if anything happens, if we have to meet a tenant or if we're in the middle of a construction project on one of those.
So define your buy box. It's okay to deviate from it a little bit, but at least define it, and that gives you kind of a direction. All right, that was 2. We're going to move on to the third main key, number 3, which is lining up your funding for the initial purchase and then the refinance at the back end. We preach using the BRRRR method, buying, adding rentals with no money out of pocket. As a FasterFreedom collaboration, Lucas, myself, and Brian, we own over 250 doors and did it all with $0 out of our own pocket. So it's not just something we preach, it's something we do. So talk about how you lined up your initial funding, maybe if you used your own money, hard money, private money, kind of what those are, and then also develop a relationship with the bank so you can refinance out and get all your money back.
Yeah, so one of the things that I originally thought when purchasing houses and building up a rental portfolio was you have to put 20% down on every single house that you bought. And so in my mind, and my wife and our minds, we were like, we're gonna buy one house a year, and we're gonna save up 20% and buy another house, and save up 20% and buy another house, and we're gonna do that for the next 15 or 20 years. And by the time we're 50, we'll have 20 homes. And that's what we thought. And then I started hanging out, getting back to the first one, starting networking with people who had hundreds of homes. And they are all like, no, there's this other method that you can do where you can literally buy homes for $0 out of your own pocket. And I was blown away by this. And so then my wife, we did our first one. I think we did a video on it a while back. And we BRRRRed out of
link here to that video. It's a great video.
Check out the video. But we made, I think, like $13,000. The bank gave us $13,000, and then we had a cash flowing rental. And I was like, this is easy money.
They don't all work like that, but that was a great first example.
But this is free money. I was blown away by it. And so, one of the things that I learned with that, though, is you have to have funding originally to get it, and not your own funding. And so there's places like hard money lenders, like you guys have Faster Funds Lending, but there's hard money lenders all over the St. Louis metro area and then all over the United States. So any market that you're in, you're able to find a hard money lender. You can just literally Google it and they'll probably pop up 20 of them. But what I've found to be the best is just networking again. When you're passionate about something, when you talk about it at family gatherings, at any of the social meetups that you're at, there's always somebody that wants to be involved. And then once you start to explain to them that you, at least for us, we personally guarantee 15%, well now it's 12% return, but we personally guarantee a 12% return on anything. That's better than anything they're going to get in the stock market. And
less risk. There's
less risk because they have a tangible asset there. They're not going to lose the money. I, for every property, come up with an investor packet that I'll give out to them, telling them what I'm buying it for, what the after the ARV is going to be. I let them know everything, but I found it actually isn't that hard to come up with lending when you're passionate about it, and then you go about it in a an educated way of like giving them an investor packet.
Just be professional.
Exactly, a professional way. People will loan to you.
Yep, and then on the back end, just get to know banks even before you buy your first property. Probably almost dropped that pen. Probably I did. Marked it right there. But plenty of most people watching probably have W-2 jobs. That's what I had for my first 4 years outside of real estate investing. So that's a great time to get to know hard money lenders and banks. You have consistent income coming in along with your rentals coming in. So get to know banks. There's portfolio lenders in your town, not your Bank of America's, your US Bank, not your big banks, but there's portfolio lenders that will lend you 80% of an appraised value, which we're not going to get into that right now. There's a video up here where we talk about refinancing with a bank at 80% to get all your money back. We're not going to go into that right now, but make sure you get your funding lined up for the purchase and then for the refinance at the end. All right, moving on to number 4, which is, we talked a little bit about this in my office, just having the proper mindset when you're going into this and having your head wrapped around everything and not having, being positive. And once you get into your mindset, because you got a great mindset.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the hardest parts about getting started, especially when we moved back here, and then I did get involved in all of these real estate meetups and talk to people like Sam, like Lucas, like Brian, was they all had hundreds of rentals and I had 0 rentals. And I was intimidated by that. And then I also felt discouraged because I had 0 rentals and I wanted to have 100. I'm like, I didn't even know where to begin. There's that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. And so I had to, honestly, my wife and I, we kind of just had to get our heads right. You know what? We're not where we want to be, but the best time to start to get to where we want to be is right now. And so we just dove in. But having to get your mindset right and realizing like it's going to take a ton of work. It's going to be really, really hard. My wife and I, we decided, another thing that we had to just decide is we don't care if we don't make any money for the next couple years if we're just learning the ropes of this business. And eventually we're going to see that, see the fruit of that. Fortunately for us, we have made a little bit of money, but we decided we're not going to make any money if we just break even on everything and are learning how to rehab projects, learning how to get renters in there. We're happy with that. And so we just had to shift our mindset. And then another mindset shift was learning how to leverage yourself, but still be smart about it. I was raised in the, many of you guys have probably heard of Dave Ramsey, the Dave Ramsey line of thinking of, you need to pay for everything in cash. And so learning about being leveraged on a ton of properties, I was always like, I don't feel comfortable with that. But learning just the ropes and learning how to leverage yourself, but do it educated to still have 25 to 20% loan to value on everything that you have that are still cash flowing, getting renters in there. Learning the ropes on that, but we just definitely had to shift our mindset in a lot of different
power
ways.
of leverage is extremely powerful. Again, we have another video on that, the power of real estate, which we talk about using leverage and how that can really accelerate your net worth and your income. Paying everything off takes a little bit of time, but if you can use leverage properly and smartly, you can definitely grow a lot faster. All right, going into our final but most important key is taking action and betting on yourself. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you have no problem taking action. You just came in swinging as hard as you could at every pitch is what you kind of did.
Yeah. Take action is for sure. Any new real estate investor that I talk to, anybody that calls me.
We got a bonus tip coming too after it's done.
Anybody that calls me is like, hey, Cam, I want to get invested or start investing in real estate. I want to buy my first property. I've seen that you've been doing it. Anybody that calls me, the very first thing that I tell them is you just have to do it. Like eventually you're going to have to do it. One of the things that I like to say is like you got to bet on yourself. Like eventually you have to say, you know what, I can handle this. I can jump in the water. I can figure this out. I can flip a property. I can burr a property. I can get renters in there. Like, you have to bet on yourself. Because if you don't, you're always going to be standing on the sidelines watching everybody else play, and you're not going to be able to get into the game. And so we did. I think one of the first meetups that I was at, there was 350, 400 people there. And it might have been like 250, but whatever. There's 250 people there. And I remember, again, feeling, intimidated, like all these people are getting into real estate. And I think it was you told me, like, out of the 250 people here, there's going to be 2 or 3 people that leave here and actually buy a house. And I was like, it's so true. There's a lot of people that want to get into this business because there's a lot of money to be made in this business.
Yeah, there is.
So few people will say, you know what, I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to take the leap of faith. And I think if you do, you quickly find out, like, wow, why didn't I do this 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? But once you take that leap of faith, man, it's a snowball effect where you buy one house and then you buy another house and another house and another house. It's a snowball effect, but it starts with just taking that leap of faith.
It does, and that kind of gets me into our bonus tip. Bonus
tip.
And it kind of wraps all the 5 tips together, is you need to educate yourself by watching channels like this. If I had FasterFreedom when I got started 6 years ago, I mean, we've done pretty well, but I feel like I would have done even more. And we have 4 or 5 times we lost 20 or 30 grand on deals in house. I feel like I would have avoided a lot of valuable mistakes I wouldn't have had to pay for them. I could have learned from other people. So educate yourself, listen to podcasts, listen to channels like this, but it kind of goes along with the 5th one as well. Take action. If you've got involved in investing in the local investing community, met good contractors, met good investors, if you defined your buy box, if you got your funding lined up, if you got the right mindset and educated yourself, there's no reason why you can't do number 5, take action. There's no reason why you can't take action. If you don't know anything, taking action may be a little irresponsible, but if you followed everything that we said in this, which you did, and if you crushed it, you can really make an impact, and you can really go a lot faster than you would have just trying to stumble your way through it by yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's amazing. 9 months ago, my wife and I, we were new to the St. Louis market. We owned 0 rental properties, had bought 0 houses, and now we've bought 25. And so I want to hear from you. If you are new to real estate investing, whatever market you're in, I want to hear what you're going to do this week to take action to buy your first property. Comment in the comments below. I want to hear what you're doing.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We got stuff like this coming out 3 times a week. So subscribe to our channel. We can really accelerate your learning curve.
Hey. Do I look tan? You should have told. I wish I would have
went tanning.
Would have went tanning beforehand. I would have done an arm workout this morning.
Just look up the push-ups real quick. This will be good for the bloopers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is recording.
Oh, it is?
Oh, yeah.
Wish I had done that.
Because I have it now.
Ready?
Yeah.
6 months ago, how many houses have you bought in the past 6 months?
25 houses, and if you want to learn how, okay, nope, didn't work out.
See, yeah.
Our first 6 months of real estate investing.
All right, there's our intro.
Why can't you do that? Same
Dates,
fired.
I got paid to speak for the last 7
Yes,
years.
she's a professional speaker, and I've gotten better. I'm do that. Make sure to what?
Subscribe and comment. I didn't know what I was supposed to say that.
You did it good.
did, right?
Yeah. Grow a lot faster.
I can only do 5 cards. Just keep that in mind.
Oh, I didn't know they can only do 5 cards. I think that was probably 4. So
I don't know what you're up to now. But
we're not.
I can only do 5.
All right.